On Monday, the Ravens released Justin Tucker. John Harbaugh said it had everything to do with football. This is in the wake of Justin Tucker being accused by 16 Baltimore area massage therapists of inappropriate behavior between the years of 2012 through 2016. But now we get a chance to get a first look at his replacement here, so to speak, Tyler Loop, coming from the University of Arizona. Loop was also named a semifinalist for the Lou Groza Award this past season here. Let me ask you, Cliff, what was the reaction to Ravens releasing Justin Tucker? He's obviously been there for a long, long time, had a lot of success, maybe a little rough season this past year, but nonetheless, overall, I think he's had a great career in Baltimore here. What was the reaction to his release? And then how confident are you in his replacement, so to speak, but Tyler Loop in specific? Go ahead.
Well, there's no question Justin Tucker had a great career here, but I think everybody knew that after the allegations and then them drafting a kicker, in the sixth round, that this was certainly not, I don't think, a shock that this happened. Tyler Loop, he's a guy who kicked a 62-yard field goal, school record in Arizona. He's got one of the strongest legs in the country. He is a guy who looks the part of a guy who can just come in and be their kicker for a long time. Now, to me, with all kickers, you never can be certain until the bright lights come on and they get in that first couple of situations where it's a game winner, pressure kicks, and he's joining a team with Super Bowl aspirations. So he's going to be put in some big spots, and we'll have to see how he comes through when those spots arrive. But certainly, with his mechanics, the strength of his leg, everything you hear about him, he's a hardworking guy who really takes his craft seriously. I think the Ravens have an excellent special teams coaches here. Randy Brown, their senior special teams coach, he spent time really looking at all kickers in this draft and felt that Loop was the guy that they wanted. So they felt really happy to get him in the sixth round. He's the first kicker the Ravens have ever drafted in franchise history. So that shows you that they feel that he's a guy who's going to be their kicker. And the ball sounded good coming off his foot at rookie minicamp. It's still early, but, he has that pop in his leg where when he hits it, notice it gets your attention.
Absolutely. And I wanted to go back and ask you maybe a tough question here. Do you think Justin Tucker is going to land anywhere else, or do you think that because of the allegations, because of the investigation, I don't think they gave an answer to the Harbaugh and the Ravens. I don't think it's concluded by any means. Do you think his career is over by chance, or do you think he lands with another team?
Well, none of us really know. It's kind of like answering the question. I mean, the NFL is investigating, the accusations. So that will shake out whenever it shakes out. And then when that's over with, then we'll have to see what happens. I mean, Tucker did not have his best season last year, but he's a guy who's made many clutch kicks in his career, and he's 35 years old. We've seen kickers kick into their 40s. So, it's hard to predict before, the investigation concludes, but, I wouldn't say for sure that it's over, and I wouldn't say for sure that, that he's going to go on. But yeah, I mean, I think at this point, we just have to wait to see what the investigation, the result of that, and then we'll have a much better idea what the future holds for him.
Absolutely. I was just curious. I wanted to get your perspective. Someone who has covered Baltimore for a long time, just his future here. We'll see what the conclusion of his, the investigation and stuff. But nonetheless, going back to Tyler Loop here, I really think the Ravens will be just fine in the kicking game here. We got to see Loop this past season because Colorado played Arizona in Tucson and kind of whooped them. But nonetheless, still Tyler Loop a little bit, maybe kick a field goal, an extra point, and blowout loss here. Cliff, my final question to you, and I can't thank you enough for joining on this beautiful Thursday. What are the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, what do the Ravens got to do to get over that hump, get to a Super Bowl, and win a Super Bowl? What do you think, in your personal opinion, is the biggest thing that they got to do to get over that hump? You got Derrick Henry this past season. I think that really took a lot of pressure off Lamar Jackson. I think I think his numbers are evident of that in his play this past season. But what do you, in your personal opinion, is the next step here to get the Ravens over the hump and get to the Super Bowl?
I think they just have to keep knocking on the door. They have not played their best football in the playoffs in these last few years. But, you have to keep giving yourself opportunities. I don't think the Ravens need anything that they don't have. I don't think that they need, a certain player or to address a certain position. I
Mm-hmm.
think they have everything they need to win a Super Bowl. And I
Definitely.
think that the more times that they are in playoff situations, the more likely it is that they will find the key to breaking through. But Lamar Jackson's coming off his best season ever, even though he didn't win the MVP. In my opinion, it was his best season.
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Henry's coming off an almost 2,000-year season.
Great season.
The Ravens, they've won the AFC North 2 years in a row. They are a Super Bowl contender. And they may have improved themselves in this offseason, bringing in Hopkins and these draft picks. So the
Definitely.
Ravens have everything they need. But like the Bills, like the Bengals, those are two other teams that come to mind. They haven't broken through yet. But that doesn't mean that any of those teams can't. I think they're all capable. It's just a question of making sure, A, you get to the playoffs, hope that you're healthy when you get there, and then play your best football once you do get there, because that's usually what it takes.
Absolutely. And well said, Cliff. I was really a big fan of you guys getting Derrick Henry because you guys decided to take Patrick Ricard, a 300-pound defensive lineman, and put him at fullback. I was a big fan of that, and then you got Derrick Henry. I thought Derrick Henry was going to be the thing that puts you guys over the top. Now I think this past season, getting the pieces in the offseason, like you mentioned, keep knocking at that door. I think it's only a matter of time with Baltimore. And Patrick Ricard got to be my favorite player on there. I love that they do that and did that. That's old school. I love it.